Yeah, good evening, everyone. Today's topic is about obesity and mainly about the abdominal fat, which has been specifically been deposited in the abdomen side. So, first thing we would like to know, we should know what is the definition and meaning for obesity. As we all know, whatever food what we take, that is which is in excess, is being stored, and when compared to the exercise what you do, and if your food intake is more, that excess fat has been accumulated in our body in various parts, mainly in the abdomen. That is known as obesity. In a simple word, obesity, for a simple layperson to understand, traditionally we tell that if a person who is more than 20 percentage of their ideal body weight is said to be obese. And let's go and see how we can calculate, how we have to calculate and see your obesity level. The first thing is ideal body weight, which is also known as Boraka uh, formula. That is nothing but your ideal body weight, that is height in centimeters minus 100 for male, and for female it is minus 105. So it can be 102 plus or minus. So that is your ideal weight. For instance, if a person is 170 centimeters minus 100 is 70, right? So if not 70, they can also be, they can range between 68 to 72. So they are said to be on the ideal weight. And when coming to the BMI, most of us will know what is BMI, but on the other hand, some people think BMI is mainly for us to calculate how obese we are. But BMI is a formula which has been implemented to know whether if you're on a underweight scale or in the normal scale or in which category of obese we stand with. It is being done with a formula that is height in kgs by weight in meter squared. So if a person is below 25, it's said to be normal, and if it is below 18, the person is said to be underweight. And this obesity here is being categorized into three categories. First one is grade 1. Grade 1 is between 29 to 29.9 to 30, which is said to be grade 1 obese. In grade 1 obese, they can do their work as well as they can help others. In grade 2 obese, which will range between 29.9 to 39.9, there they can do their work but they cannot help others. And which is above 40 is a grade 3 obese, where the person is immovable, and that is how we categorize. So BMI is not only mainly set to find out whether you're obese or not, because many people have are mistakenly thinking that this BMI is only for this reason. But whether you're obese or in which category of obesity you are, or if you're on a normal scale or on an under scale, whatever it is, that will show the categorization of your weight level. This is one. And there are another few other things like waist circumference and for hip and waist ratio, all this is there. Mainly, there are certain causes for weight gain. So the first thing is, the main thing is, if a person is becoming obese, not on a sudden thing, but if they are being obese for a longer time, what will happen is they will end up in lot of metabolic disorders. Main causes are, the first cause is genetics. Second thing is eating a lot of junk foods. Third thing is food addiction. Next is aggressive, because people are much addicted to the advertisements and ads which is coming up. Any new thing which is being shown in the market, or when they see this advertisements, they tend to go and buy that and eat immediately. So that is again one. And next is insulin resistance. Next is certain medication. When they are into certain medication, and the last one is the leptin resistance. All these are the factors. When coming to genetics, mostly 50 to 70 percentage of people, they get this genetics predominantly because it has been inherited either from the parents or any of the family members. That is one. If both parents are obese, they have a tendency of 80 percentage to inherit the obesity. Either one parent is that is obese, then they will have a chance of 50 percentage. Next is age and sex. So age and sex also plays a major role in the weight, but predominantly at any age for any body they can become obese. Even they can become obese in the childhood or even in the adult. That doesn't matter. So age is not a factor. And sex. When compared to male, female has a tendency of putting lot of weights because of the lot of hormonal changes which a female undergo from the age of 14. That is from the age of the puberty till menopause. They undergo a lot of hormonal changes which end up in putting weight, and there is a fluctuation in the weight also. So according to Nutrition Foundation of India, they have said when compared to male, female has more of a tendency to put weight. And there is a saying that God has created female. Like after puberty, we have a tendency to bear a child. So in case when we are bearing a child, in case if there is a famine or something, the baby which is in the womb should not starve. For that reason, we have being females, we have more fat percentage when compared to male. And one more thing is a lot of people think when we skip a meal we will definitely lose weight, but when you're skipping meal immediately the impulse will go to your brain telling that you will not get food for next couple of hours, so you have to store your fat instead of expelling that. So this is the factor with age and sex. Next, eating habits. A lot of people have a tendency to keep on munching or nibbling between the meals. After having the major meals, they keep on eating something with the junk foods and those things. And some people have a tendency of eating the food fast without chewing it properly, or by watching TVs or reading books or fiddling on the mobiles and all this. So that will also end up in eating more of food. And next is the main thing is being a housewife. Housewives are they have a tendency of eating more because they don't want the leftover to get waste. Or when cooking also they tend to taste the food in between. This is another thing. And then mainly if they are taking food more of carbohydrate rich foods or fatty foods, something like this for a longer period, which will also interfere in this insulin resistance. So that might cause them to become a pre-diabetes and all this. And apart from that, this leptin hormone will also be hindered because it is a satiety hormone that will also be hindering the weight gain and all this. And next is stress level. So stress, definitely endocrine system makes a major role here. First stress is during puberty, and apart from that, pregnancy, menopause, trauma, any accident or something, they tend to be on the bed for a longer time. So without doing any physical activity, they eat more, and then they end up in gaining weight. And the last one is lot of hormones are involved. So for the first thing is diabetes. Diabetes, they tend, if any one parent is diabetic, they have chances of getting diabetes. If both parents are diabetic, they have even more chances. Or any of the family members also they have. And apart from that, being obese, all these are the chances of becoming diabetes. And then the next hormone is this polycystic ovary, which is known as PCOD. Either we call it as polycystic ovarian disease or polycystic ovarian syndrome. In this, what happens in the ovaries? There are small water bubbles which hinders the female hormone, and excessive male hormone has been secreted, and due to that they try to miss on the periods, and also they try to put on weight. So this is one. And next one is thyroid. And if somebody is into any of this category, first thing they have to go and meet a doctor, and then they have to take a proper medication, and then they have to correct on these things like thyroid, PCOD, diabetes, all this. They have to first rectify that, and then after that only we have to start the medication. And next thing is the important thing is there are two types of places where two ways where the fat has been accumulated in the stomach. First thing is the apple and the pure one. So the apple is above the waist, that is in the part of the abdomen, the fat is being accumulated, and the next one is the pears, that is below the stomach. So mostly the apple, that apple one is for the male, and the pure one is for the female. So that is more. When compared to the female, this apple accumulated fat is much more riskier than the pure one. In the pure one, it mostly gets accumulated in the hip and in the flank region. And coming to the fat, generally fat has been accumulated in the visceral part. So visceral part is nothing but it has been accumulated on the organs like heart, kidney, all these major organs. The fat has been covered with. That is known as the visceral fat. And next comes the subcutaneous fat, which has been deposited in the adipose. So whatever food we take, the excess food, what is not required apart from our daily activity, the excess food is being the carbohydrate part and the protein both together. If it is on an excess side is being converted into fat and it has been accumulated in the subcutaneous place. So when coming to this visceral obesity, main thing is for a long term, if there is a accumulation of fat in the visceral part, what will happen is first thing they'll end up in insulin resistance. So that on the other hand, it will lead to hyperinsulinemia. Next is it will increase the triglyceride, and then it will reduce the LDL, which is the good cholesterol, and then it will increase the it will reduce the HDL, which is the good cholesterol, and on the other hand, the LDL, the bad cholesterol will be increased. And so what will happen is it will end up in some cardiovascular diseases. And next is type of obese. Mainly, the first thing is child obesity, or it is known as juvenile obese. The other one is adult onset. So when coming to the child obese, most of the parents, when they bring the child to us, they give a complaint about the child. They tell my child always wants ice cream, chocolates, burgers, pizzas, and all this. So, what I used to tell is, kindly do not blame on the kid. See, none of the child goes to the ATM, fix the money, or go and buy all these junk foods. We as a parents, we are making it as a habituate to the child. And apart from that, they will, as the parents, they will create a scenario that if it's a Sunday, they have to buy food from outside, or they will go to a restaurant and have food. So what will happen if this week, if the parents are not taking the child outside, then the child themselves will start questioning the parents that, Mommy, today is a Sunday. Why are we not going out for a dinner? Like that. So all this is because of the parents. They have to teach the child to have a healthy food, and also they have to teach the children, because nowadays every kids are very much intelligent and they know what is what. So you can educate your children by teaching them what is the importance of having a lot of fruits, vegetables, salads, and greens, and then you can educate them and make them understand the importance of all the fruits and vitamins and minerals, so that they end up in eating a healthy food. And I see people. So when I go to a couple of my friends or my relatives' house, I see children telling that, no, auntie, we don't take chocolates or any of this. If it's a fruit, I would like to accept. So there are a lot of kids who have come up with those type of attitude. This is one thing. And we have to make sure that we have to teach the parents that they should not allow the child to always to sit in front of the television or to play a video game. Instead, they have to make the child to play some outdoor games and all this. And they have to consciously cut down on the junk foods, and which is more of sugary and salt in nature. This is one. And adult onset obesity is mostly due to the psychological disturbances and glucose intolerance and sleep apnea. So before going to this, there is another thing for adult onset weight, which is mainly the medication. So a lot of people end up in a lot of anxiety problem or depression. So they take a lot of medication. So when they are taking a lot of medication to overcome the stress or to overcome some psychological issues, they end up in sleeping more. For that reason, what happens is again they tend to put more weight. This is another one reason, and they also end up in sleep apnea. There is something known as a circadian cycle, which is the sleep-wake cycle. Generally, the best sleeping hours is from night 10 to morning 5:30 or 6. 10 to 2 o'clock, what will happen is what all physical repairment our body has undergone the daytime, that will get repaired. And 2 to 6, what all psychological repairment your body has undergone, that will get repaired. So that is the reason why we get all the dreams and all those stuff in the early morning time. But people think, on the other hand, they think that taking a sleep for 8 hours is better. So what they do is they hit the bed at 1 o'clock and wake up at 8. So that is wrong actually. Mostly by 9:30 to 10, they have to hit the bed and they have to wake up at 5:30 or 6. And that is much more important. And then there are naturally the leptin hormone is there in certain fruits like berries, and then unsweetened beverages, healthy oils, vegetable oils is there, meat, poultry, fish, whole grains, and salads. And all this they have to take so that the leptin level is also maintained, and so that they get the satietiness when they are having the food. And so apart from this, there is something which is much important, that they have to take a meal on a proper time. And first thing is they have to know what they are eating. So they should be very much conscious when they are having the food. So they should know what is on the plate. They have to make sure that the carbs is little and they take more of protein, because proteins generally give a satiety value when they are eating, and they can take a lot of vegetables and fruits. So vegetables and fruits, in the sense of vegetables, it can be of tricolor, and at least in a day they should take some 250 grams of vegetables at least. And if it's a fruit, generally they have to have only in between to the meals and not along with the meals or instead of meal. That is a wrong notion, because if you're taking along with the meal, what will happen? The glucose level will get increased. And on the other hand, if you're taking only a bowl of fruit, again it has fructose in it, so the blood glucose level might get shooted up. This is another one issue. So when they can, which is the preferred time to have fruits? The best time to have fruits is either they have to have in between to the meals, like in the mid morning or in the late evening or in the mid evening time. This is one. And then there are certain foods like apples and watermelons that after 4 o'clock they can restrict, because sometimes they will tend to retain water, and that will end up in putting weight. This is one. And when coming to this depression and all this, there is something known as this hormonal changes which happens in female mainly. So first thing is the puberty time. When coming to the puberty time, they will have lot of mood swings. So for everyone, every female will undergo this. Either they'll get irritated, or sometimes they even might feel bad to touch their own body because it will be so painful. And apart from that, some people might have vomiting or loose motion, or also they might have fever and all this. And apart from that, they will also tend to eat a lot of foods. They end up in eating a good biryani or some sweets, or a very high calorie food or something, or chocolates, ice creams, and this. And mostly for every female, there will be a weight gain. So that is not your correct time or ideal time to go and check your weight. So that is one. And next is during the menopausal stage also. You know, all these mood swings should be challenged. And there is a saying that everyone asks us the question whether we can have this lukewarm water, honey, and lemon. Will that help? Definitely, it will help, because it will increase your BMR And apart from that, if you cleanse your system, you can also add a pinch of turmeric and a little bit of cinnamon powder to it so that it will cleanse the system, and it will smoothen your intestine, and it will also cleanse your constipation, and all this will be relieved. So this is another important thing. So always when a person is obese, first thing they have to go and meet a physician and check if they have any uh, comorbidities or any other medical issues. First, that has to be rectified, and then they have to go for a weight regime thing. And anything which ends up in a crash dieting is not good actually, because our body is like a rubber band. When you're losing weight fast, it might rebound again. So slow and steady will always win the race. So we have to make it as a target, like 2 to 3 kgs in a month, or if it is a very good, if you're doing a vigorous exercise or something, then you can end up in losing 3 to 4 kgs. This is one. And then people are asking us, many of them have a query, can we have this apple cider vinegar? See, this apple cider vinegar will help in reducing a weight or fat burning, but it should be taken after each meal, but not on an empty stomach. That is one. And any form of porridge, we don't advise to take it instead of main meal, because it is very watery, powdery, and it is starchy. So it might increase your blood glucose and come down suddenly, which is known as a yo-yo cycle. And before ending up the session, first thing is we have to know what to eat, how to eat, and when to eat, and consciously see, some factor from outside should not always influence us to reduce the weight. So that urge should come within us. So we should have, and apart from looking beautiful or something, rather than fitness, first thing is our health. Health is our wealth. So we have to take care of ourselves. That is much more important. And importantly, exercise also. If for a person to lose weight, if 80%, 70 to 80% contribution is coming from the diet, balance 20 to 30 is from the exercise part. So if you want to do a proper exercise, if you have enough time to go to a fitness center, go meet your physio, and then with the help of your fitness coach, you can just check with them what schedule to follow and when to follow. If not, if you don't have time, it's okay. At least 30 to 40 minutes minimum. There are people telling us that, ma'am, we do exercise only for 20 minutes. So if you're doing and starting up an exercise, first 5 minutes will be your body will get warmed up. Then after 15th or 20th minutes only, your fat will start burning. So anybody who wants to reduce the weight, and if they want to do an exercise, it should be at least for 40 minutes minimum to 1 hour they can do, at least a brisk walk. So that is much more important. And finally, drinking good amount of water. Water is water. Water cannot be replaced with anything. So water should be taken good. So to maintain a good complexion of your skin, and it helps to relieve from constipation. If somebody has a problem with constipation, that also have to be addressed, because if there is constipation for a longer time, they will not be able to eat food properly. That is one. So the constipation part should be rectified, and then doing exercise is important, and having a healthy meal is again important, along with water, and milk is definitely required. We are not asking you guys to take a 1 liter milk per day. At least a minimum of 300 ml of skimmed milk is definitely needed, because our bones require calcium and to maintain, and we also require good amount of protein. So protein is much important in your diet to give you the satiety value, and definitely good amount of fat is also required. So in a day you can use some 3 to 4 teaspoons of oil, and that oil can be of a blended one, and ghee is good. So melted ghee you can take 1 teaspoon in a day. And being from south, our major food is rice. So at least 75 grams to 50 grams at least of cooked white rice you have to have, because for our carbohydrates, for our fat to be metabolized, we require good amount of carbs. So that is much more important, rather than ending up having rice in dinner, or curd, or spinach, and then non-veg in dinner, that is not much advisable because it will take more time for us to get the digestion period is increased. And the best time for us to finish our dinner is 7:30 to 8 because before going to bed, we at least should have some 3 to 4 hours of gap so that the digestion is being done properly. So that when we are going to bed, when our entire system goes into rest, likewise, what will happen is our our body will also start to do the detoxification. So if you're taking a late dinner on the other hand, what will happen? The digestion and the detoxification both will get hindered. So it's better to always have a early meal. Early meal will also help in reducing your weight, and again it will not accumulate the unnecessary fat. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions? You can ask now. Ma'am, one person asked a question.
What is it?
To reduce weight, can we follow diet changes alone or need to do anything else?
See, definitely, first thing, as I told you already, first thing you have to check if you are having any comorbidities like diabetes, any of this, and then if at all you have any ailment like any hormonal issues, you have to rectify on that. That is the first thing. Next is you have to go and meet your proper dietitian, get your proper regime, and if you are able to go to a fitness center, go and get your exercise regime from a fitness person. If not, at least you have to do an exercise. A diet and exercise, see, both hands together only, if you clap, you will get a sound. Likewise, diet and exercise together will give you a beautiful result. And this crash dieting, we generally as dietitians, we don't practice or we don't advise on them because that is not much safe for your internal organ. So for a person to reduce weight is alone not important, but reducing weight on a healthy platform is much important.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for your questions, ma'am. One more question, ma'am. Um, Diet restrictions alone helps in weight loss, ma'am. Is that true, ma'am?
Definitely, that restrictions help. But one thing, whatever you do, you have to do it in a consistent manner. That should be, and that should be on your mindset, and that should come internally. Any external force like somebody, a family member, or somebody because somebody has teased us, we want to reduce, and then what will happen in a period of time, or for example, instance, if it's a New Year resolution, everyone generally if you see people will come and meet a lot of dietitians during the new year time or else they go and check with the packages in the gyms during the new year time because they have a new year resolution. Then after a couple of months again it will come to the pavilion, it will be back to the pavilion. So that is wrong. Anything whatever you do it should be on a consistent basis. First thing, what if you want to start up a diet regime or something, consciously you have to know which is nutritious and which is not. That is first thing. And second thing, simple things, what all you know which is wrong, try to cut down on those things, then slowly start working on it. It will definitely help.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, one more last question, ma'am. How to reduce post-pregnancy weight, ma'am?
Okay. Post-pregnancy weight, generally, people who are lactating, we don't advise them immediately because we want the babies to be fed well, a minimum of 6 to 1 year, 6 months to 1 year. So let the baby grow. Whatever weight is gained is gained. If somebody is planning for pregnancy, that's why we say when you're planning for pregnancy, you have to make sure that you're in an ideal weight. So already if you're in an obese category, then when you're ending up in pregnancy or something, again during your pregnancy you'll gain some 10 to 12 kgs. So after that, we need not go into any depression or something. Whatever gain base weight is weight. So let your baby grow, feed your baby well, a minimum with 6 months to 1 year. Then later on, you can start with your exercise and diet.
Okay, ma'am. One question, ma'am. Satyapriya asked, ma'am, can we suggest liquid diet like that to break out diet plan, ma'am?
Okay. See, any liquid diet, see, again, that's coming on a crash diet. So what you can do is you can give them a exercise or a diet regime, let them follow it, and finally, once in a month or twice a month, what you can do is you can ask them to go for a detox diet. Detox is much important. Know we have to cleanse the system. We can have lot of green tea or white tea or aloe vera juice or amla juice, anything which is rich in vitamin C, like citrus juices, all this we can have, carrot juices. Beetroot has a lot of nitrate in it, so it carries a lot of oxygen to the various parts of the body, so that is good. And on the detox day, they should not take any cooked food. Instead, they can take a lot of fruits, vegetables, and all this. So people, what they think, no, today just because they have detox, on the next day they can go and end up in having a big biryani or something. That is wrong actually, because the previous day, just because that person has detox, they will have some constipation sort of problem. So next day, if possible, if they're able to get a lot of organic vegetables, let them have it. Or they can have a lot of radish, this cabbage, all this, and then we can have plenty of. There are a lot of brown rice and the fiber-rich rices available nowadays. In We have a lot of traditional rices also. So those type of rice can be suggested with lot of plenty of water to get rid of the constipation, and slowly they can move on. And when they are on a detox, we don't advise them to go for an exercise. On that day, they can just go for a steam or they can go for a simple massage or something. So what will happen is the breathe in after the detox or something. The next day they can go for a yoga or they can do some meditation or they can do some breathe in and breathe out exercise so that their negative energy goes out and good positive things comes back to them.
Okay. Wonderful session with you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, we got more information about obesity and causes of obesity and what are the mistakes we are doing in children and more about diet, how to eat to avoid weight gain like that. We got more information from you, ma'am. It was a wonderful session with you, ma'am. Thank you for the live, ma'am.
Thank you so much.